channel where we bring you back-to-back update and information as it is hot. In case you have not joined our social media handle, kindly go ahead and subscribe. Please, all our fans, as you are watching our video, please kindly keep on keeping the like button. Click the like button so that, and also share our news so that this news can go viral. Drop your comments as you're also listening. Security agents humiliating Igbos at Southeast Checking Point, Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer Ejimako alleges. Well, I will say that I am happy that people like Aloy Ejimako have started seeing from the right point of the mirror, because there is this saying in the Bible. They say that a man who looks at himself in a mirror and when he moves out forgets what he looks like, that man is more like a fool. And some Igbo politicians, some legal juggernauts, some elites of Igbo are like that. They are like men who look at themselves in the mirror, and when they left or when they leave the mirror, they forget what they look like. In the sense that these people has been there from time immemorial. Most of them were there immediately after the independence of Nigeria. They know what transpired. They know the history. They know how everything came about. They know about the amalgamation. They know all these stories. They understood all these stories by Lord Lugard, how Lord Lugard, I think in 1940 or something like that, amalgamated the Eastern and Western Protectorate, all those things. They know this history. They know how these things came about. And at the middle of the sea, at the middle of the point of the whole thing, these people started acting as if they don't know how this amalgamation happened, how the whole thing took place, that after 40 years after amalgamation, that each of the protectorate or each of the regions amalgamated together can decide to say, we don't want to be together. And people like a man like Ojukwu, Ojukwu saw the future before now, and even the Agui see them who plotted coup that failed, and the rest of them, trying to bring in a better government. And after that, after the failed coup, Aguironsi was killed, and the rest of them, most of them, and Ojukwu came up with this vision of having the nation called Biafra, because he saw ahead of the future what the Igbo people are going to suffer, the marginalization that is currently going on in Nigeria. And he decided to declare the Eastern region to become the Biafra Republic, of which he took this step in 1967, which lasted from 1967 to 1970. There was battle, there was a civil war that lasted for 3 years. And many people lost their lives. The region, the Southeast region was blocked. The blockage of food supply, the blockage of petrol supply, the conniving between the British government and the Nigerian government to weaken the Southeast region with hunger. And these are part of the things that history was banned in the Nigeria educational curriculum, because up till now, I don't know if history, but I know that when I was in school, nothing like history, because these people don't want the children, the coming up children, to know the history of Nigeria, what transpired, what happened. Olusegun Obasanjo was there. He was a soldier. Gowon was there. He was the head of he was the head of state then when all these things were happening. And in the Igbo, after the war, after that civil war of 3 years, was given 20 pounds. Whatever you have. Those days, the Igbo people were occupying, before the 1967 to 1970 war, the Igbo people were occupying higher positions in Nigeria because they are more like the most learned people in Nigeria then. Go and check the history of which Nnamdi Azikiwe was one of the pioneers that brought about the independence of this nation, of which the first system of government that was run in Nigeria was a parliamentary system of government, of which Nnamdi Azikiwe was the president. But of course, you know, in the parliamentary system of government, the position of a president is more like a ceremonial position. The person that has power is the prime minister, and that was held by an Hausa man then, if you know the history. And after that, the Igbos forgot all these things. The legal juggernauts, the elites, their position was taken away. Many of them that had houses in Port Harcourt and the rest of them, none of them were able to recover it. Those that had investment in Lagos State and the rest of them, that were working in big offices in Lagos, in Port Harcourt. Lagos was then the capital, the federal capital. Port Harcourt was one of the booming city. Kanu was also another booming city then. Now, after that, the Igbos were given 20 pounds each to start over their life again. No matter how much you have in the bank, it was converted to 20 pounds. And these Igbo people started from there. They started working hard again. And while this civil war was going on, the Yoruba people were busy going to school for that 3 years because there was no chaos. Even when Ojukwu plotted to invade Lagos State, which was sabotaged by Victor Banjo and the rest of them, who went to Delta State and announced, told the Nigerian government that he is sorry, this, that, and that. Of course, he was sent to mission by Ojukwu, and after that, of which he was court-martialed. The Igbo people forgot all these histories. Why I'm bringing to you this thing is to know the history, to know the background, because these are the history of Nigeria and the history of the Biafrans. This is where they are coming from, and most people don't know these things because this history was denied in Nigeria academic curriculum so that the children that are coming up might not be able to know some of this history and know the steps to take. And that is why today, if after that, after years of all these happenings, after years of all these events, Owazurike came up with Masob, of which the Kepu, of course, you know what transpired on the road between 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003, 4, 5, and 6, and the rest of them. And after that, I don't know what transpired on the way. He became a rich man due to that struggle. He even went to prison and the rest of them. But when he came out, he emerged as a rich man. And it was as if Masob was now a legalized institution in Nigeria. And after that, around 2014 or thereabout, or 2012 or thereabout, Mazi Nnamdi kind of started his vision, started his mission. He saw ahead and he started talking about, he gave prophecies, of course, should I call it forecasting or prophecy, but however he come about with everything that took place in Nigeria, when he talked about that, there was a time will come when Nigerians are going to buy their own currency with their own money, which happened last year. He talked about the increment in fuel price. He talked about the decreation of the naira, depreciation of the naira to dollar, and the rest of them. Talked about how Tinubu is going to take over the government and the rest of them, and all these things are happening today. And up until now, up until he was arrested in 2017, released, which then Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu signed the surety. And after he was released, there was an invasion in his home in Afaruku, Ibeku, Abia State, where the soldiers invaded his home. Unfortunately for him, he escaped. About 50 people or thereabout was, massacred and sent to judgment on that very fateful and black day. And after that, again, he was invited to Kenya by some people, in order to come, after a bounty of $100,000 was placed over his head. He was invited by some group of people to Kenya to come for a meeting without knowing that that was where they are going to give him the keys to sell him off like the Judas keys which sold Jesus off. And that was where they gave him same keys, and he was extraordinary rendition from Kenya to Nigeria. And that has been up to 2 years plus now. of which the appellate court discharged and acquitted him, quashed all the 15-count charges against him, saying that he has been discharged and acquitted, that those counts and charges does not have ground. And at that moment, some people started sabotaging his barristers, his legal counsel, things started changing. Some people started fighting because of his position, his money, and the rest of them before Mazi Simon Ekpa, who is now the current Prime Minister of the Biafra Republic government in exile, took over the government and started pioneering the ship as it is going now. And of course, since then, many things have been happening in the southeastern part of Nigeria, which the Igbo elites, the southeast governors, the Ohanese Ndigbo, and the rest of them does not want to handle with a careful hand, because they are more concerned about their political positions than what is happening in their area. And there is this Igbo saying, na ka akwọba mmiri mgbe ọ ka nọ n'obu ọkpa. There is another Igbo saying that said, ka ewele efife chuo owu ojii. Another Igbo saying said, ọ sị ka eme ngwa ngwa ka emerụ gịnị? Ka eme ya ala ọdachi. And the Igbo Southeast governors, Ohanese Ndigbo, and the rest of them overlooked some of this thing until this thing escalated. Instead of them facing the reality, they started inviting soldiers, pleading with the federal government to give them more soldiers and the rest of them. And up until that, they started becoming roadblocks, road blockade, whereby if you are going from Imo State to Anambra State, when you get to some particular checking point, you have to come down from your vehicle and put your hand on top of your head and cross the soldiers as if it is a conquered territory. Now, people thought it was like play game. It was gonna end. But the Southeast governors does not know, they did not consider the implication of bringing soldiers out of barracks into their territory. It is not about bringing soldiers out. It is about sending them inside. And now, let's go down to the information of the day, where Aloy Ejimako, the legal counsel to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, is crying about the humiliation of soldiers checking points in the southeastern part of Nigeria. Because as na eblozu onye ọzọ n'isi ọ dịka ebu kwụ. Because when these things have not affected some of them, they felt that, they can go by because they live in Abuja, some of them live in Lagos, some of them live in abroad. And now I believe that what must have made Aloy Ejimako to speak out might be that this thing must have affected him or maybe member of his family, maybe whereby he tried to pass by this checking point and the soldiers did not consider his status or his personality and he was flagged down to walk and cross the checking point. Let's go down to his information. Let's go down to what Aloy Ejimako is about saying. Aloy Ejimako, a special counsel to Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, has lamented the humiliation of Igbos at the checking points across the southeast. He lamented that security agents are oppressing Igbos by forcing passengers out of vehicles and making them walk across checking points on foot. He alleged that institutional oppression started during the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari. He wrote on X, the phenomenon in Igbo land in which every passenger is forced to alight from vehicles and cross on foot at security checking point is an exemplar of the institutional humiliation and oppression of Igbo that started with Buhari and continued to this day, and it fuels provocation to the boot. You can see that right up. And of course, I need to remind you that no soldier can enter into a particular state without the permission of the governor in that state. It was the governors in the southeastern part of Nigeria that went to Abuja and seek the help of the federal government, asking them to help them and release some soldiers that will protect their territory. Forgetting that every issue can be sorted out with dialogue. And these people forgot dialogue, and just because they wanted to please their taxmaster, those who put them into office through Gridali and through Appian ways, they invited soldiers, and now it is affecting everybody. Meanwhile, don't touch the dial. Still remember that you are still in this one and only channel. And remember to on your notification button, the like button. And also remember that whenever our news drop, you'll be the first to collect it. Thank you for listening. God bless you.